Welcome to COMX-TV. We're your weekly guide to the comic book universe. I'm Mike Rizzo, and I'm by myself. As you know, each and every week, we say each and every week, myself and Steve, you see us in our COMX-TV studio, and what we do is we go through, we review comic books, and preview comic books, we give you news, and a variety of other things. Well, this week, as you can see, we're in an editing suite here, and Steve and myself have both been on vacation. We haven't been able to coordinate our schedules to do a new show, so instead of bringing you another repeat, what we're going to do is we're going to bring you some of our highlights of our first year, which is our anniversary is July 10th. So we're going to be bringing you some different clips from old shows, the beginning, the end, and so on. So hopefully you'll like it, and you won't be bored in the first 5 minutes and shut us off. So let's go to our first clip. Okay, going through the CTV archives, COMX-TV archives, as I call them, we came up with some interesting footage for you. First off, as you see, this is just the beginning of our very first show back on July 10th, 1993. It was actually filmed in May 1993, and as you see, we were a little smart Alex with We Are Gods on the screen. Welcome to COMX-TV. My name's Mike.
And my name's Steve, and we're glad you're watching.
We're going to try and make this a pleasant, fast-paced show, a bit different than some of the other ones you are currently watching on TV.
Hopefully you'll like it, and we'll tell all your friends that COMX-TV isn't about comedy, but comic books.
Our first few shows might be a bit raw until we get this whole TV bit down, so bear with us if you'd like, completely if you will. Each week we will be reviewing the hottest new comics on the market. As you can see, we were pretty raw, just like I said. Okay, in the beginning of our second show, which aired the following week, we had a little bit of a problem.
Each of us will be reviewing the hottest
in that,
new comics
Steve
in the market, along with
was.
what we like coming in the coming months, including DC, Marvel, Independence, all the funky stuff that Mike here will be reviewing.
Mark, how many years have you known me?
Mike here.
Okay, along with comics, and wasn't that hilarious? that was our second show. Basically, what we did was we recorded all of our first three shows at the same time, the same day. Had them ready in advance. Let's see what's coming up next. Oh, this show also featured Mr. Lizard. Let's take a look at Mr. Lizard, if I can. Okay, and starting this week off, we've got some great stuff. My first book this week was Mr. Lizard 3D. Came with these funky 3D glasses. And this next part here, got this little 3D, oh, not 3D, this little pill here, came with it. Little instructions say, drop capsule in warm hot water and watch. For children 5 years and above, not to be taken internally. We'll drop that in there. Get down there, boy. And we'll let that sit there while we get on. Okay, I picked this one up for two reasons. For the glasses and for the little capsule. Ooh, he's grown already. Okay, let's see. This book is by John Hartman and Michael Hawkins. In the first story, Mr. Lizard goes to college. Mr. Lizard goes to college. Nearly gets killed by a class of crazy women and has the school jock after him. In the second story, you learn the origin of Mr. Lizard and his pal, Ralph Snart. Snart. The 3D effect is really good. If you sit there and actually concentrate on it, you can see the 3D toys you get. So I give it a 3 for the effect and for the Mr. Lizard foam toy. Isn't this great, kids? He's a little wet, but there he is. All right, Stevie. And our fourth show debuted our brand new COMX-TV t-shirts that were made, custom made just for us, obviously. Steve had those made, and that was for the fourth show. As you can see, the show hasn't changed at all in the first 4 shows. Our first year was not without any hitches, of course. Never having produced a television show, we had our problems, including lighting. Like this show here is a little dark. We had microphone problems, we had camera problems, we forgot props. There was a lot of problems that were associated with the first year, and hopefully by now we've just about cleaned everything up. We even changed our address since then. Another one of the things we had was Stickman. He made an appearance on occasion during our at least first quarter of our season, our first season, and that was from Kevin Kucharski, who was our sponsor from Comics Plus on Elmwood Avenue. Since then, we are no longer associated with them due to a few problems we had, including our own, where we couldn't schedule the right times to shoot, because as you see, the show was shot in their store for a good portion of the season. Through the course of the year, we've had dozens of interviews. Our very first interview was with Joe Sinnott, the famed inker from Marvel and beyond and since. He's worked on plenty of projects. Let's just give a little here to what he had to say.
I was wondering, when he came back to Marvel in the 70s,
I did a few things.
you did a few things with him, but they kept putting him with the same inkers they had at DC, which I thought was real.
Other interviewees we had included Graham Nolan, who lives in Western New York.
Vengeance Bank pick up where it left off.
Dig Steve's lawn hairdo.
Future plans of any other characters, or?
Oh, well, I'm going to be on Detective for a while now. I have a Metamorpho miniseries coming out at the end of the month as well. And I've got some...
We had, in addition to our other problems, we lost show number 7. It's gone off the face of the earth. The only thing I know is that reviewed some books, some local books and some other books, and I don't think Steve has his copy of the show, and I don't. It's gone off the face of the earth. Next, we've got the Star Trek exhibit, which came to the Buffalo Museum of Science last summer. And we went and we visited, and we'll take a look at that. Oh, whoops, that was the wrong clip there. That wasn't the Star Trek convention. Here, let's take a look at it now. Here we are. This is the transporter room. We were just beamed away to some Never Never Land here. Ooh, look at that. What the heck does Steve see? Okay.
Wouldn't you like to know?
Okay, in this Star Trek transporter room, this was pretty neat. It was all computer generated. This was all virtual reality, where, as you can see, it says reach out and interact with objects. What that means is the objects there, you were looking at a giant screen in front of you, and these objects, you could actually like move towards them and such, and they would move away. This was the dumbest one of them all. As you notice, if you watch, if you hit some of them after a while, they change shape. Some of the little gems change into little daggers or whatever they are, if you hit them long enough like that. And debuting in what we call show 1.10 was it 1.10? Yeah, that's our 10th show, was our New Beginning that I sat around and monkeyed around with, and that was all of it at that time. And our, of course, our theme song. By the time we reached our 11th show, which was near the end of our first season, Steve and I had begun our famous QVC debates. This is where we debated the merits of selling comic books on television for extraordinary prices. Let's take a look.
It was great.
That was wonderful.
I had a good time with him. Nice guy.
Good. Back to this QVC thing. Don't buy anything from QVC, period.
Why?
Because it's a waste of money. The only purpose, their only purpose is to make money and to make you think that the comic you're buying is worth money, so you can have something worth a lot of money.
Actually, don't listen to Mike with the don't buy anything, because when they have the different artists on there and they're selling the autographed stuff, that is cheapest price you're going to find it anywhere ordering it through them. I had the fortunate chance to see some autographed copies of the Superman series, the Death of Superman series, and they were going for $70 and $80. Now you can get them on there for $30 with the make sure if you ever buy any autographed material, make sure it has the certificate of authenticity with it, because anybody can sign a book, anybody, and say it's authentic.
I'll have to disagree with Steve about this, because anybody can, no matter who he is, sign the book, and here's my signature. But that doesn't mean anything. It's not personalized. It's just a signature. It's not worth anything to me. I don't think that's worth anything. I don't think that.
I collect them.
There's this Vantage I don't know if it comes out every week or what, has information in it. It's
Once
for
a month.
comic collectors.
Yes.
It's okay if you want to make money. If you're in this to make money, that's fine. But you should be in here to collect comics for what they are, read them.
Make sure you read them. Just don't buy them and throw them on a shelf. Always read your comics.
I mean, that's if you're just collecting for the money,
It's a big industry.
It's not worth it.
There's a lot out in the industry.
And
so.
hopefully that's why we're trying to show you some of the stuff that's worthwhile to read.
$50 for the comic, but you're going to have to spend 35 cents a day for the paper every day. So.
And we all know the Buffalo News is not worth 35 cents.
No, it's not. At least not all of it.
Some other interviews we had included Charles Barnett. He's an anchor for ElfQuest. He has done some freelance work, and he was at Chronicles. It was a rather new store on Elmwood Avenue. They didn't last too long, 6 months possibly, which has been a problem throughout the Buffalo area.
Meetings after that,
as many stores have come and gone. There's new stores here now that weren't there last year. And it seems to be a problem that probably won't cure itself for a while.
Hello and welcome. This is the first annual COMX-TV Halloween Spooktacular. Boo! I'm Mike.
I'm Steve.
And this is COMX-TV. We are your weekly comic review, preview, everything show. This week we got all our regular reviews, previews, a lot of good stuff. Oh boy, are you ugly. A lot of good stuff. We have the comic collector software that we will be reviewing later on in the show, along with all our other good stuff. So, stay tuned.
Yes.
COMX-TV will be back with the news in a second.
Okay, as you can see, at times we had a little fun when we were doing some editing.
Come a little closer, honey. Buddha.
Lower.
Okay, ready?
And in October '93, we went to Comic Fest.
This is Mike.
And I'm Steve.
And this is COMX-TV. We are live here at...
Philadelphia Comic Con.
Oh, what is it?
Philadelphia Comic Convention.
It's Comic Fest 93.
That's the one.
And we're here with, I don't know how many thousand people.
There's thousands of people here.
We spent 2 hours so far in Artist Alley, which is on the other side. And there...
Now we're hitting all the other stuff, the card shops, DC, Marvel, Supreme, Extreme, Dark Horse. All their stands are over here. We're going to hit them now.
Yeah, we already hit, there's Gumby over there. We already hit most of the artists. We got some interviews with some of them. Like you said, we're going to go and hit this other stuff. People throwing fingers at us. And
We got lots of stuff going on here.
we're having a good time. It's a good time. We're here with our camera crew, Robin and Sue. And we're going to go and get
As you
some
can
more
see,
interviews,
we
some more
still
people. We're gonna
haven't
see if we can get,
perfected the
some of Todd
lighting
McFarlane,
techniques
Jim Shooter, some of the other
that
people.
have become pretty much standard in our current shows. Even in this scene, which is another one of the many areas we videoed our early shows in. Coming up, we'll show you where COMX-TV is filmed and has been filmed since the early part of 1994. On November 6, 1993, we debuted our brand new set. It was incomplete at the time, but we needed to get it out, so we had one permanent area that we always had our show.
Stay tuned as we bring you an exclusive COMX-TV interview with Poison Elves creator Drew Hayes. Starting this week, we bring you classic comics and our usual assortment of comic reviews and previews.
On November 20th, 1993, we debuted the set completed minus a few posters.
I reviewed version 1.6 about 3 weeks ago.
As you can see, the show has steadily improved through time, and as we go along, we'll see how it's improved even more. One thing that Comics TV has striven for since the inception is to present independent and small press books as much as possible. We've given airtime to many reviews, previews. We have many interviews like this one here with Culture Comics out of Canada. And we feel that the industry is not just the mainstream superhero, but there's a lot of small press and independent publishers putting out many, many good books that sell many copies. And we felt that it was important for us to present them, which is what I have done, while Steve has covered the mainstream, which is mainly DC, Marvel, Valiant, Dark Horse, and Image. Basically everything else has been covered by myself.
Your local comic shop. Buy a comic. Read it. Don't put it in a bag, throw it on a shelf. Don't sit there and do that with it because it really destroys them. Don't do that. Take care of your books. They're worth it. They're a good investment. So next time you patronize your local comic shop, tell them you've seen it on COMX-TV.
See ya.
Ciao.
Wait a second. Don't do this! Don't do it! No! No! Bye.
Early on, we tried to forge relationships with several different publications in order to gain exposure and to provide some new information to our viewers. Dan DeBono and his indie video magazine was a very short-lived segment of only 3 weeks, and haven't heard from him since.
All right. Hi, this is Jim Lee, and you're watching Comics TV.
That was how we began a special New Year's Eve or New Year's Day 1994 program. Comics TV was contacted by Image Comics in late 1993, asked if we would like to cover the opening of the Killer Instinct tour in New York City on December 10th, 93, and we did. We were the only video production company that was present at the time. Jim Lee was granted us an interview, which I guess we can't say is exclusive since everybody gets interviews with Jim Lee and everybody else. There's Mark Silvestri and company. There's Jim, and it turned out to be a pretty good affair. Unfortunately, at that time, we still hadn't honed our videography down 100%, and some of our lighting was a little bad, and some of our camera work and videoing was a little more grainy than we would have liked. But overall, I believe it came out pretty good. Quite a coup for a young television program.
The first person.
On January 8th, 1994, we began our third series, or how we like to say, our third season of 13 shows here on Public Access in Buffalo. Unfortunately, as you can see, our editing procedure still wasn't 100% yet. We did change the show around a lot. We cut our reviews down. We added a new feature called Review Counter Review, which evolved into
Dual review each and every week. Me and Mike review 2 books, and we decide whether we like them or we hate them. If we hate them, we shoot them. If you don't like them, we shoot you too. It's a very interesting segment of our program.
Comics TV has always catered to new material when possible, such as this Outbreak 999, which at this point in time has not yet even been released still. We always like to keep on top of things, and this is just one of the ways that we feel we can best accomplish that. Another company that we were trying to work with was Overstreet, and they were originally, after several months of negotiations, going to work with us on a classic comic feature, but that finally fell through when they decided they didn't have enough time for us. So instead, after several incarnations, we have this.
50 years. Today I have chosen for your enjoyment Wonder Woman #1, dated summer 1942 from National Periodical Publication / DC Comics. She is one of the few characters in comics.
This person that we picked up here that is doing these reviews for us, if you notice, each and every week he has a different inflection in his voice, different accent. Even during the same review, you can hear several different accents. He's not sure if he's German, Japanese, Chinese, Irish, or what he is. But this is our classic comics feature, which we feel is important to the collector of older comics and those that have some redeeming value. And that pretty much wraps up our first anniversary show. What we're going to do now is bring you some clips, some information, some news, some video from Valiant. This is their 3rd anniversary video, and there's some important information, some interesting information on what's coming up and what they've done in the past, present, future. So let's take a look.
Brothers and put him into there as a character. We didn't name him by name, but he comes over in the bar and talks to Jack Boniface and says, you know, are you going to help us with this new album we're working on? And a few people recognized and knew it was Dickie, but it's just a fun thing to do. When we went and talked about Aerosmith doing it, they wanted to do more than a cameo. They wanted to be involved in the story. They wanted to get, you know, be either victims or heroes or villains. They really wanted to be part of it. And we sat down with Bob Hall, and then Bob Hall sat down with Aerosmith and worked out what I thought was a terrific plot. And that's one of those books that, from what I understand, sold out instantly.
How about some teasers for fans out there about what's coming up in the Valiant universe?
Well, as you know, 94 is the year of the Visitor. And in this Chaos Agenda, this mega story that we're doing this summer, we'll get our first glimpse of the Visitor. The Visitor is a very unique character to the Valiant universe. First of all, he's the first Valiant character, well, I don't want to say first Valiant character, but the first major character to wear a cape. and there's a good reason for it.
Why is that important in the Valiant universe?
Well, because the capes are stupid, generally, you know? I mean, do you know anyone who wears a cape?
Can't think
you
of
know anyone
anybody
sane
offhand.
who wears a cape, I mean.
No.
Exactly. I don't know anyone who wears a cape, or any reason why they would wear a cape, you know? They generally there should be a reason why somebody wears a cape, you know? Anyway, the Visitor's a very fascinating character. I think people are going to be really knocked for a loop when he appears. Do I have my Visitor logo here? It's like, I know, I moved here. Sorry about that. It's like, because I can tease him with my Visitor logo. Yes, remember that 94 is the year of the Visitor. You know, it's going to be very exciting. On top of that, we have Time Walker. I know it was delayed for a little bit because, again, no, Paul, you know, it's like how I am. It's like, unless it's absolutely the best it can possibly be, it's like I won't do it. In the case of Time Walker, I just felt like it just didn't feel right to me. You know what I mean? It's like we got a great character with Ivar here and a terrific premise, but, you know, it just didn't hook, you know? And so it was my decision to delay that book, to sit down with the creative teams and really kind of like hash it out some more, you know? Because, I mean, I won't put a book out unless it's absolutely the best, I feel the best it can be. So Time Walker we will launch Time Walker in August. It'll be written by Bob Hall, the guy who's given you Shadow Man. It was terrific, terrific stuff, one of my favorite Valiant comics. It'll be penciled by Don Perlin, one of the finest storytellers in the industry, a 40-year veteran and a current penciler of Bloodshot, and inked by Gonzalo Mayo, who I think is a tremendous illustrator.
Just a few last things before we end our show. We'd like to thank some people who have helped us through our first year, including our wives and our cameraman Jim Bett. The people who wrote our theme song and produced our theme song, Gilbert Neal, Brett Neumark, and Dave Snyder. In addition, for those of you that aren't aware of it, Comics TV airs monthly in Manhattan, New York. We air weekly throughout Western New York. Beginning within the next week or so, we will be airing weekly or bi-weekly in Dallas, Texas. Within the next 6 months, we expect to be airing in Tampa, Sacramento, Minneapolis, Boston, possibly Los Angeles, and Philadelphia, and maybe Chicago also. So hopefully by the time we produce our second anniversary show, we'll have ourselves a ton more information, a lot more viewers, and a lot more to bring you. Hopefully this next year is going to be even better than the first year. So thanks for watching. We're glad you're watching. We hope you watch every week. And the thing we'd really like is to know that you're watching. We've had a few contests where we haven't gotten that great a response, and we don't know if we're just now reaching the people or what it is. If you're watching us, we want to know. Write to us at COMX-TV, 90 Crossman Avenue, Buffalo, New York, 14211. That number, that address goes by the screen, down the screen, up the screen every single week, and we really wish that you'd take a few minutes, write to us. You take the time to write to us, ask some of your friends. Some of them have received free gifts from us. We get a lot of stuff. We get tons of promotional material, and if you take the time, we'll give you a little bit of time. Thanks a lot for watching.